And so does MG Social deal with influencer marketing at all? Like, do you do any of that for your clients?
Yeah, we do a lot of it. It's one of our favorite things that we love to do. We work with a lot of influencers here and abroad to showcase specific products. We always try to let the influencer have their own control over it because I want it to be as organic as possible. If we send you a product, we want to hear your real thoughts and your real opinions on it. And I tell influencers this all the time, that like you can find something good in anything, right? Like we're obviously you don't want to say something negative too much about a product, but you can always find something good or something to showcase about that. And if they really don't like it, then please like send it back. Let us know. We're totally happy with that too. We can let our client know that these are some issues that we need to work out with this product before it goes to mass market. Things along those lines.
I think an important thing you said there too is you kind of give the influencer some creative control.
Absolutely.
Because I feel like you can tell when a brand partners with an influencer and the brand is leading the creative and like the direction of the creative because it doesn't feel authentic to what that creator usually creates, and therefore it's not even as effective.
It's not as effective because people follow somebody or anybody for a specific reason, whether it's a friend of yours from high school or it's somebody who delivers a message in a way that you like. And we want to make sure that they know their followers better than anybody, that they deliver that message how they see fit. And we also want it to be as honest as possible. In today's marketing and world, our influencers have a lot of power. And with that power comes a certain amount of responsibility in the sense that you don't want to mislead your followers either. I have accidentally become an influencer. And a lot of the things that people send me, like, I just want to be honest. If I'm telling you that this is a great restaurant or that this is a great product or t-shirt, I want to truly be able to believe in that, as opposed to just, collect a paycheck and not believe in it at all.
Yeah. Do you think influencer marketing is kind of matured already? I've seen people debate both sides where influencer marketing is pretty much finished, like people know and understand now, but some people are saying it's just beginning. Where do you kind of land on that scale?
I think it's broadening. So I do think it is still beginning because a lot of the larger companies have just recently started to shift it. They were a little bit slow in the game and they've recently just started shifting a lot of money into it. Yes, people know. We all, like even influencers, they'll tell you, they'll see hashtag sponsored, they'll see ad, or you'll see something in that post to tell you that this is a paid sponsorship. It's whether or not you trust that influencer, and it's whether or not, that influencer is somebody who has ethics. And it's really important. The other thing I'm seeing a big shift in, it's to micro influencers. So it's not just the really large influencers that we're going after anymore. I prefer, depending on the campaign, to sometimes work with a larger variety of micro influencers because, again, they're still new into this game. They're a little bit more honest. They have a more loyal following. If you look at smaller influencers, their percentage of interaction is a lot higher than necessarily some of the larger ones, especially if you are doing a campaign that's localized in a region. So my co-influencer in Ottawa will have a reach of 5,000 people, but those 5,000 people are actually in Ottawa, and they will cost a lot less for a brand or company to work with. Whereas a larger influencer who has 100,000 followers, but still only 5,000 of those people actually happen to be in Ottawa, that person will cost a lot more. So if we're doing a localized campaign, we try to work with smaller micro influencers. Now, when we do larger campaigns that are more international, that's when you want influencers with more of a global reach that will have that. So I think companies have shifted and realized that it's not always the large influencer you want to go with, but that you should sometimes shift and go to the smaller influencers.
The example I always give with that is Carlo Kutsubai Carlo, that we both know, and he's past guest on the podcast.
He's one of my favorite people. If you don't know him, he just got 10,000 followers. Get him 11, people.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like, I couldn't believe it. He was before 10 when he was on here, and he's talking about approaching 10, and it was so cool to see him finally hit 10. But I always use him as an example when it comes to micro influencers because he has 10,000 followers now, but he'll post a contest, and he posted one, I think it was with Cinnaholic recently, and he got like 2,500 comments.
Absolutely.
Which is insane. Like, I don't even see big influencers getting 2,500 comments very often. So it's just to your point where if they're localized and they have a like very reliable audience, they're just as good as partnering with the big influencers.
Absolutely, especially if what you are trying to sell is in that local area, because that is where people are, and that's where that interaction is going to happen. And Carlo, I've known him for years, and he's somebody that I trust his voice. So if he tells me something, if he tells me about that a restaurant is absolutely amazing, or I need to try this dish, I will blindly follow him and try out whatever he tells me to try because I know how like ethical he is, and I know that what he says is true.
So are there any other like trends you're looking at in the influencer marketing space that are kind of like have caught your eye, you see on the horizon? Like an example is I think that influencer marketing is going to move more towards long-term partnerships as opposed to one-off sponsored posts, almost like brand ambassadorship.
It definitely does that, and a lot of influencers prefer it. What's happening now is when it started out, a lot of influencers would do like things for free or they would volunteer their time, and now everyone's shifting into paid campaigns. And they're starting to realize their own value and realize that they should be paid a lot more, and they're asking now for a lot more. But if you're asking for thousands of dollars, then your deliverables have to be higher. So in doing so, yes, you can ask a brand or a company for a $5,000, $10,000, $50,000 campaign, but then you have to deliver a lot more. There's a lot more involved to that. And there's nothing wrong with that, but now they're taking on fewer campaigns, but larger campaigns, which is great because they get to become true ambassadors for that brand.